Hi, I hope you're all having a great day today. I'm going to give you a brief demonstration of the forms that are used for new employees for the online payroll setup. On this form, you will find the employee worksheet information, which is composed of the name, address, social security number, telephone number, their filing status, married, single, their number of exemptions, pay rate, pay dates, deductions that are applicable, and the pay periods and dates that apply. This packet is also composed of the Texas New Hire, Form W-4, and Form I-9. The Texas New Hire form must be filled out within 20 days of employment and faxed to the number shown on the form at 1-800-732-5015, which is the most recommended way of submitting this information to the Texas Attorney General. Failure to comply will cause a $25 penalty in the event of an audit. You can easily fax this information to the Attorney General by having the employee complete Form W-4, in which they will enter their number of exemptions by following the instructions on letter A through H and filling out the demographic information in the boxes such as their name, last name, social security number, address, their status, marital status such as single, married but withholding at higher single rate, which will help you fill out the worksheet information for the status that applies. You must make sure that the employee properly signs and dates the form and gives you the total number of allowances on this form. You also must fill out the employer's name and address and employer identification number in boxes 8 and 10 respectively, so that when you submit this form to the Texas Attorney General at the fax number noted here, they will know from what employer the information is coming from. The last form to talk about, and I would say the most important form, is Form I-9. Form I-9 is composed of Section 1 for the employee and Section 2 for the employer. So Section 1 is filled by the employee with their last name, first name, their address, their date of birth, social security number, email address, telephone number, and they check the boxes for are they U.S. citizens, non-residents, permanent residents, or whatever it is that applies. If they have a work permit authorization, and they sign and date, always make sure the employee properly signs and dates these forms. If they get assistance by somebody to prepare the form, then the preparer information should be filled in below under the preparer and translator certification. Please note that failure to properly fill out Form I-9 may result in a penalty of up to $10,000 per instance of omission, or $1,000 at the lower end of the spectrum for instances in which the form is not properly filled out, such as missing a signature, missing a date. In the event that you have an employee who is not legally authorized to work in the U.S., the penalty would be $10,000 per instance of omission. Section 2 of Form I-9 is filled out by the employer by obtaining a document or documents from the following page, which would be List A, would be a U.S. passport, a permanent resident card. If you get, for example, a U.S. passport for an individual, you are both confirming authorization to work in the U.S. and identity, since the passport has a valid photo ID and it's a U.S. person who has authorization to work in the U.S. because of their citizenship. If you cannot get one of these documents from List A, then you must in turn get List B or C, one of each. For example, a driver's license and a social security number to validate both identity by seeing the picture on the driver's license and authorization to work in the U.S. by seeing the social security number and making sure that there are no restrictions as to employment. That information is then filled in on List A. If you acquired one of the documents from List A, such as a U.S. passport, then you would list the document title, U.S. passport, issuing authority, U.S. Department of State, document number, the passport number, and the expiration date of the passport. By getting one of list A documents, you don't have to get B or C. But if you can't get list A documents, then you must get B and C and fill in the respective information, such as driver's license, if it was issued by the Department of State, the driver's license number, and the expiration date of that license. List C would be for, let's say, the Social Security card issued by the Social Security Administration, and then you would list out the Social Security number, and that does not have an expiration date unless you're noted otherwise from the Department of Homeland Security or Immigration Services. The certification must be made by the employer of when the employee's first day of employment happened. That must always be filled in, since it has to do with filling the form within 3 days of employment. You must also have the authorized individual sign and date the form, put their title in the company, their last name and first name, the employer's name and address. And Section 3 is used in the event that you have somebody who you rehire. Say, for example, you have somebody that works seasonal for you and they come back to work, and you re-verify the information by filling in Section 3 without having to start the process all over and completing the whole Form I-9. Please take note that if you have any questions regarding these forms, you may contact our office and ask one of our staff to explain the form in which you have a question. Thank you and have a great day.